first thing that I like to think about is understand why they're doing it in the first place. Oftentimes we see, leaders, managers going after an agile transformation, and they're not quite, they sort of know why they're doing it, but they're not 100% clear on it. And it certainly shouldn't be just for the sake of implementing agile, right? The finish line is not, oh, look, we've got X% of our projects using agile, or Y% of our people are trained, or Z number of scrum masters. And I've seen those kind of measures before, and it's the self-flicking ice cream cone, right? The point becomes to just do agile, which should never be the reason. So we are fans of saying, all right, what are the outcomes that you're trying to achieve? Is it cycle time? Is it time to market? Is it transparency in the process? Is it better integration with your business customers? Is it customer satisfaction? Is it some mix of those things? But any of those, or any of the outcomes that you choose, should be measurable. So you can inspect on the agile transformation and say, are we actually getting the outcomes that we're looking for? Not, do we have a bunch of agile teams, but are we getting business outcomes? And I said business outcomes there very deliberately, because the other thing that I think management needs to do is to make sure this is done as a team sport. Another big mistake is for IT leaders to take this on their own because they think it's the right thing, or they've done it in another organization, or a CIO at another company told them how great it was, and so they go, all right, we have to implement agile. But they leave behind their business customers, and so they're not having a conversation around what are the important outcomes that we're trying to achieve. So be very outcome oriented. Bring your business partners along for the ride. And then the final thing I'll say here is walk the talk. And what I mean by that is it really can be quite effective for leadership teams to operate as agile teams. So imagine they've got a backlog of work that is helping to execute the transformation. And those things might look like communications plans, road shows, making changes to organizational structure, a number of different things, but it's essentially the work of transforming and things that leaders and managers need to do. So they treat that backlog just like a Scrum team would treat it. They have sprint planning and sprints, and they do work, and they show people the work that they did, and then they do a retrospective. And that does two things. One, hopefully, we believe these practices are effective. It keeps the transformation moving and focused on the highest priority things, creates a bunch of transparency, and it also builds confidence with the rest of the folks in the organization that people are really committed, and it builds empathy with the leadership because they get a sense for what it's like to operate in these small cross-functional teams. So that's definitely not an exhaustive list, but if I had to pick, 3 important things, those would be at the top of my list.